Breaking news, folks. Donald Trump is being accused of illegally profiting off of his disastrous tariffs as the rest of Americans suffer in a shady new scheme that was just exposed. We have all the details of this jaw-dropping conflict of interest from the con man-in-chief himself coming up for you in this video. And of course, this all stems from Trump's money laundering shell company, Trump Media and Technology Group, that owns Truth Social. Before we dive in, thank you all so much for helping us hit 500,000 subscribers. If you haven't already, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you appreciate our reporting. It is the freest way to fight fascism, and it means the world to us. Now, Truth Social has become a conduit for shady business and misinformation since its inception, but it came under much more serious scrutiny earlier this week.
Tonight, 2 Democratic lawmakers are calling on Congress to investigate whether or not President Trump engaged in insider trading or market manipulation. The president posting to Truth Social minutes after the markets opened this morning saying, quote, "This is a great time to buy," along with the letters DJT, which stand for both his initials and the ticker for his media company. Hours later, he announced the pause and stock prices skyrocketed.
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just an individual. He made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million.
Democrats are saying this is a little bit sus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no expert, but I'd also say blatant market manipulation via your insider social media platform is pretty sus, to put it lightly. And Democrats need to be doing far more here, as per usual, because while they're throwing around words like they can stop Trump stealing the same way Dora the Explorer does.
Swiper, no swiping! Swiper, no swiping!
Trump Media and Technology Group is quite literally saying the quiet part out loud and announcing their shady scheme in their very own press release. Here's reporting from Raw Story. President Donald Trump's social media company is marketing, quote, America First accounts that would allow him to personally benefit from the tariffs that have been roiling the stock market and lopping value off the dollar. And this brand new scheme is beyond him just helping his insiders profit off swings in the market, which you'll also likely remember. Here's a clip of that happening last week.
House Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia is now facing public accusations of insider trading. The headlines include Marjorie Taylor Greene's suspicious stock trade soared 29% despite tariffs, and Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene's 17 stock buys in the market crash turned to profits after Trump's tariff pause.
I've heard.
It would not shock me, and I hate to speculate, if we were to find out that a whole bunch of people who work in Washington as our elected leaders, one way or the other, ultimately sold stocks last week, or potentially worse than that, shorted the market.
I don't think that it was a coincidence.
Now, folks, this time it's not just Trump truthing out his buy orders to his cabal of MAGA market manipulators. The report goes on. Trump Media and Technology Group, the parent company of the social media platform Truth Social, announced Tuesday that it was marketing a series of actively managed investment accounts to allow investment in companies that benefit from the president's agenda. And independent journalist Judd Legum reported that his tariff policies could be used to manipulate the value of those accounts. I'll explain a bit more of the specifics of how exactly that would work in just a second. They also reported that the new investment accounts would offer investors access to curated thematic investment strategies rooted in American values and priorities. Among the themes are, quote, Made in America, which presumably would focus on companies that would benefit from tariffs on competitors who make goods abroad and import them to the United States, as well as other themes that include faith and values, liberty and security, and energy independence. And one of the venture's partners hailed the Truth Social branded separately managed accounts as a way for investors to support companies that back the president's agenda. And Legum's report delves into some specific examples of how this would work and why Truth Social is doing this, because after all, they are a social media company, not a financial institution. Saying that Trump will profit from these accounts in 2 ways. First, TMTG will invest a portion of its cash reserves in accounts. Secondly, as the majority shareholder in TMTG, Trump will benefit from the fees generated by these accounts. The performance of the underlying assets held in these accounts will determine both TMTG's return on its cash reserves and interest from outside investors. So nothing nefarious or conflict of interest sounding about that, right? Oh, wait, but Trump as president will also be able to significantly influence the performance of these assets through tariffs and other policies. It is a jaw-dropping conflict of interest for actively managed investment accounts to be marked under the president's name through a company that is majority owned by the president. So why, you may ask, is Truth Social the one offering these thematic investment solutions? After all, they are a social media company, like I said earlier, not a financial institution. Well, it turns out the reason is because they suck at even being a social media company. The report purports that one likely explanation, it's failing as a social media company. In February, the company announced that during 2024, the year he was elected, the company lost over $400 million on revenues of just $3.6 million. If that's not a Trump business, I don't know what is. How many people are using Truth Social? The company refuses to reveal that information. According to the company, focusing on key performance indicators such as signups, average revenue per user, ad impressions and pricing, or active user accounts, including monthly and daily active users, could potentially divert its focus, listen to this, from strategic evaluation with respect to the progress and growth of its business. So essentially they're saying we don't want to focus on the numbers, the key performance indicators, the stuff that every company needs to report on to grow and to be successful. No, that would get in the way of us growing and being successful. But that didn't stop them from paying Donald Trump Jr. $813,000, nearly 1/4 of the company's revenue, to be a member of TMTG's board. It's unbelievable, folks. And here's the thing. Not only is this a blatant form of conflict of interest corruption from an arguably terrible company that shouldn't exist from a business standpoint, it is also just the latest example of a scheme, a shady scheme from Trump and his cronies to divert money to themselves from the idiots that will invest in this thing and get the rug pulled on them anyway. You'll remember when he was inaugurated, he launched that Trump meme coin, and this is how it's turned out for the people who invested in it.
Let's talk about crypto scams and political corruption in the Trump era. You might remember how just days before the inauguration, President Trump decided to announce that he was launching a new Trump meme coin. When you buy a Trump coin, you don't actually get anything. There's a disclaimer on the website that says it's intended to function as an expression of support for Trump and not as an investment opportunity. However, a lot of people miss that fine print, and they spent billions on Trump coins hoping that the price would go up. But according to the New York Times, as of last week, at least 810,000 people had lost money on the Trump coin, while the Trump family and its partners have made nearly $100 million in fees people pay when they buy and sell it. And some mystery account bought millions of Trump coins just minutes after they were announced and then flipped them for a profit of up to $109 million. Now, normally the Department of Justice would investigate some sketchy insider trading-like behavior like this, but I wouldn't hold your breath for Trump's DOJ to investigate their own boss. And this is just one of several ways the Trump administration is slashing regulations designed to protect consumers. Gary Gensler, Biden's SEC chair, who is known as an aggressive regulator against the crypto industry, has been replaced by an industry ally. The Department of Justice has disbanded its own anti-corruption unit. And Elon Musk has set his sights on eradicating the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, a government agency that has returned $20 billion to victims of financial fraud. So, if you're Elon Musk, or a Trump family member, or a crypto scammer, though maybe that's redundant, Trump 2.0 is looking good for you, but for everyone else, hang on to your wallets.
Yeah, folks, so scammers rejoice. You know, it honestly blows my mind because I think Reagan would be rolling in his grave right now if he saw the dystopian amount of trickle-up economics that modern Republicans and Donald Trump have been able to scam the American people into. Like, forget about telling people, no, the rich will make you wealthy because our money will trickle down. No, this is straight up reverse Robin Hood. They are taking from the poor, giving directly to the rich, and really just Donald Trump and his families. If that's something you disagree with, hopefully you do as an American, and you appreciate the reporting and us calling this out, then by all means, drop a like on the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and be sure to drop a blue heart if you made it this far, boosting the algorithm so this video gets out there so more people can see this. And damn, will the Democrats do something about this? For sake, I can't. Anyway, I'm Kenny Hesse for Really American. I'm so over this guys, but I will see you in the next one.